here we are. This is my website, 7 patterns. So obviously fairly straightforward. We're using lines such as we're a branding and marketing consultancy, emphasizing what we are, based in Australia, partnering with brands around the world to help them stand out from the crowd. So there we're alluding to the problem, the fact that most brands are struggling to stand out from the crowd, and therefore we're helping to solve that problem. We're telling people that we're the driving force behind creativity, which links into our brand story, which we'll obviously get to. Tell me more takes people to more about the business. So here we are, some effective copywriting, which you're more than welcome to read through at a later date. But that again points to everything that we're offering and the problem that we're solving. Our services, again, we're reiterating that we're here to help brands stand out from the crowd through branding, marketing, and strategy. They're our key service areas. Let's talk over coffee. So that's a call to action, as I talked about. So right there and then we're calling people to action. Our story, again, this is an explanation of how our brand came about, how the name came about, which was a pretty fun little journey. As I mentioned just earlier, here's some of the clients we've worked with, which again strengthens our brand when people recognize, the likes of Freshie, if you had a meal there, or perhaps the AMA, you've done some training there, those types of things. And obviously this is a growing list, and not all of the clients we've worked with, but just some that give an array of industries. Our process, obviously I talked about the importance of the process of delivery. Now that's it here, so let me give you a quick look at that. So let's team up to create marketing that works. Step one, say hello, don't be shy. So we're encouraging people to reach out to us. Then we're telling people that we will actually talk over coffee. So you won't just get an email, but it will actually turn into a coffee meeting. So we're personable, we're contactable, we're approachable. We will actually meet with the client or with the website visitor over coffee. Then we're obviously moving more into the business. We're talking about what's required, how can we help? Then we move to an actual proposal. So we send a proposal. I should say with step number 2 that in recent times that's moved more to Zoom meetings. Obviously with lockdowns and the like, Zoom has become a business owner's best friend. After number 4, we're obviously working on the design or the service provider angle. So we're actually providing the services that have been requested. Then we're launching whatever it might be. So whether it's a marketing campaign that we've developed or a new website or a new logo, branding components, we'll launch that, and obviously everything around that. And then we'll measure the results. So we'll stay in contact with the business owner to determine how effective has our work been and how can we improve. Perhaps we can offer further services and develop a bit of an ongoing relationship. So that's a brief rundown on that, the process of delivery. And then again, we're just emphasizing let's talk, calls to action, so on and so forth. So I'd like to think that we've covered off on most things there. Obviously under tell me more, I showed you that there. Again, sounds good, right? Let's talk. We're leading people to the contact us. Really simple. Contact details, how can we help? Encouraging people to contact us without having to jump through various different hoops. So that's that. Hopefully that helps. Let's finish that there and let's go back to the Q&A. Feel free to add comments or further questions as we go as well. We've still got a bit of time. Okay, so a question from another attendee here is, in building a website, what platform would you suggest that is not only user-friendly, but is also easy to build for a business startup? That is a great question. There's obviously a whole range of platforms out there. Personally, and through my business, the platform that we've worked the most with in recent times is Squarespace. It's a company based out of the US. Basically, it's built this platform whereby it's super simple for you to build it yourself as a business owner. But then obviously if you wanted to go to and sort of code it, design it to the nth degree, obviously you can outsource that to a company like mine, whereby we're able to jump in and turn it into whatever you want it to be. Now that's a great option. Obviously, a lot of people still go down sort of the WordPress and the Wix pathways, which I mean, people are more than welcome to do so. I know clients and friends who have had a lot of success with those, but personally, I would suggest Squarespace in the first instance, and obviously more than happy to talk more about that offline. Great. Can you show us some examples of a great website? Now, hopefully my website is an example of that. But I mean, it really depends on what you're looking for. I think in the context of what I've shared, there's a whole range. Let me see if I can pull up another one for you. Let's go with the Business Station website. Let's analyze the Business Station website together. So let me just pull that up and share my screen. All right. Let's share this now. And whilst I'm doing this, feel free to add any other questions to the Q&A section. All right, here we go. Business Station website. Now, this is what you would call a content-heavy website. Obvious reasons, they've got a lot to tell us all. Let's scroll through and just have a look at. Now, I'm well aware that this is being recorded, and I hope that after reviewing this, I'm not risking my position with Business Station. So let's do this together. What is Business Station? So that's good. It's straight into it with telling us who they are. Business Station, not-for-profit provider of enterprise development. So they're sort of, we aim to build growth and capacity in small businesses. So they're alluding to affordable and easily accessible training and business support. So they've told us the solution to a problem that I'm sure a lot of small business owners are having, finding affordable and easily accessible training and business support. So again, you can be clear with the solution without having to completely state the problem. Our support to business owners extends to incubators, which are home to over 70 small businesses, so on and so forth. So they're telling us more about the actual what. And then here, are you ready to take your business to the next level? So this is a call to action. And obviously we're able to go through and select the relevant pathway. What is a business incubator, so on and so forth. So they're covering off on a lot of our points there. The point of difference, let's see if we can find a point of difference here. Now, obviously without exploring Google, I think Business Station is in a bit of a league of its own in this regard, because they cover off on so many different areas. Obviously, you got the different locations. So I think the point of difference is fairly apparent there. The conversation starter. So we've obviously got contact us at the top, which has a big drop down. Frequently asked questions is a great option as well, particularly in this instance when there's a whole lot of content and perhaps people are wanting to just cut through some of the fluff and find out some specific answers. Again, here we've got what is a business incubator, what's on. So again, this is potentially a point of difference in terms of mapping the journey. There's multiple ways to find things. You've got the blog down here. And for those of you who maybe haven't visited this website before, you may have just gone via the event page. Here's obviously the advisors where you would find myself. Now this is obviously, again, a point of difference. This is a list of people that will obviously continue being updated. You're able to find everything that you need. That's myself there. And then obviously the website copy, which we talked about, that's of huge importance, which they're obviously emphasizing words like digital advisory, business coaching, small business workshops, and we're seeing that in various different areas on this website. So from a Google point of view, they're mentioning all the keywords in multiple different ways, which is of huge importance. Now, obviously, this website is fairly in depth to the point where you've got a back end for people to log into and register into. You will notice here on the side that you've got all your social media links. Now, personally, I would say that's probably too many, because not only are you giving people the options to go to 5 different social media channels, but you're also giving people the option to message you directly here, the bottom right-hand corner. And then obviously at the bottom and at the top, you're asking people to contact you as well. You've got the form here on the left, you've got the email address, you've got the phone number, find a location near me. So there's a whole lot of ways to contact Business Station, which perhaps they've had discussions around this and the importance of having the multiple channels, but I would suggest no more than maybe 3. And then obviously down here you've got, as I talked about, the brand association, the partnering with key brands, which is obviously a requirement in their instance, but by having government logos, regional development, and so on, you're strengthening the brand of Business Station. And I think that sort of covers off on most of what we talked about. Obviously, the bonus that I gave you around offering something free, a lot of what Business Station offers is free. I would hope that the registration to this webinar was free for you, and the idea being that it obviously connects you into the Business Station family, in the hope that we're able to assist you further going forward. So again, that's offering something free. Just going back through my list, I think we've just about found everything that we set out to look for on this website. So hopefully that gives you a bit more of an understanding as to what's good in a website. All right, let me pull back up these questions. Great. So Christina's saying the first ASBAS session is free. Yep, that's a great point, Christina. For those of you who perhaps haven't booked through ASBAS before, your first session is completely free. So whether that's a one-on-one Zoom call with myself, or whether that's with another advisor that specializes in a different area, your first session is free. So that's again a huge bonus, and something that I talked about earlier, and Business Station is well and truly onto it. So very helpful. Next question. When you look at websites on the net, what is the point that websites fail on the most? Okay, so I think what you're saying is where do most websites go wrong, or where do most businesses go wrong? I think that's difficult to answer, Kathy, because I think it's different in different contexts, different industries. But if I had to choose one, and I'm sure you've all had different experiences, but personally, I think for me, the main one would probably be usability. So if it's difficult for me to navigate, I'm just going to jump off of it. If I'm having to zoom, or if I'm having to click through 4 or 5 times to find what I need, then obviously I'm not even going to spend the full 15 seconds on that website. So I think the usability, and again, just to back up this point, as I said, the game changer there is that Google actually scans websites now for how user-friendly they are, how device-friendly they are. And so that plays into your SEO, which, for those who don't know, SEO is search engine optimization. So how easy is it for people to find your website through Google and the like? So I think, as I said, point number 9 was you must map the journey. So sit down and look through the lens of a customer. Is it easy for you to get through your website? How many times are you having to click? Are you able to find contact details easily? Hence why it's useful to have your contact details in various different locations, perhaps in the footer, perhaps in the top right-hand corner, obviously a link to your contact details, those sorts of things, just to make it as easy as possible for the user, so that you're making the most of that 15 seconds or less that you have them on your website, and you're making it worthwhile for both of you. Okay. let's have a look. Another question. I did not see any pics of your team on your website. Now, that is a good point. I think it depends on the type of industry that you're in as to whether you should have photos of your team or not. Because I'm obviously working in an industry where basically the teams that work with me are on a sort of project by project basis. I've got sort of a core group that work with me, but even then, a lot of them are experts in a particular field, so they're sitting across a few different pieces of work as well. So it really depends on the sort of business that you're running, how your business is structured, and obviously the type of industry that you're in. If you've got a solid set of employees that are with you night and day, by all means add them to your website, but I would encourage you to consider whether that's beneficial to the overall brand that you're presenting. Now, in some instances, having a certain person might be hugely beneficial because they bring with them perhaps a whole another stream of clients, or perhaps they have a different area of expertise. So it's really up to you with whether you see that as beneficial to your business within the industry that you're in. For me personally, I haven't seen that as necessary or as beneficial to my business moving forward. But obviously, I've got access to a team that are able to help me achieve all the sorts of projects that we work on. So hope that helps. Great. We are now coming to a close, so probably have time for one or two more questions if anyone has any, and if not, we will conclude it there. So feel free to flick anything through, and if there's nothing else, I will just do a final recap. So let me just jump back into this. All right, final recap. So remember, when people get to your website, we are running out of time. It is important that we make the most of the time that we have. Number one was the problem you are solving. Number two was the point of difference. Number three was the vision and or purpose. Number four was your process of delivery. Number five was including calls to action. Number six was conversation starter. Number seven, real stories from real people. Number eight, you must talk the talk. Number nine, you must map the journey. Number 10, you must keep the main thing the main thing. And the bonus was to include a special offer. Next steps, as we talked about, was to assess your own business using this as a 10-point check. And as I said, if in need of a new website, feel free to reach out to me. But it's important to remember that less is more. And then obviously we've answered some questions. I think one more has just come through, but just to reiterate, actually, let me answer this first. Oh, great. I'm glad it was helpful. If you've got any other feedback, feel free to let me know. I think you may also receive a feedback form via email. Feel free to be brutally honest, because that's what helps us improve this as a service offering. But just to round it out, feel free to book a consult with me via the Business Station website or reach out to me via the links below. LinkedIn is obviously a great way to stay connected as well. I'd love to hear about some of your businesses, or at least see them across LinkedIn, so feel free to reach out to me that way. But once again, thank you for joining us. We'll end it there. So thanks again. Have a great evening. And if I can be of any help going forward, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks, everyone. All the best and have a great evening.